don't use a cloud, right, what are some alternatives? So if you are having some partnership with the data centers or other stuff, you can use the data centers, and it totally depends on how much cost is involved for setting up the data. So before we move to the demo, we'll quickly talk about the licensing models and costs associated with it so that you can get an idea how it makes sense for or when you should go for the performance testing from cloud. These are few of the representative cloud service providers out there, like LoadRunner is there, Nucleus, BlazeMeter, LoadStorm, BrowserMark. And these are some of the sample cost, these are some of the licensing cost model most of the vendors are having. I will discuss about a simple thing like over here in this slide, if you can say when we are saying 0 to 250 credits, right? Then they are saying that each credit will cost $10 each. So let's say if you're taking a 250 credit, then you are paying around $2,500 for to the vendor, and then they are giving some kind of definitions like one credit. Basically they are saying that okay, one credit is used when you are using one of the load generator for 1 hour. So most of the cloud basically works in these three factors, like how much powerful machine you are using, and how many machines that you are using, and how many hours you are running it for the performance testing. So with these three multiple factors, your cost is dependent, and there are different models can be different, but ultimately the cost is dependent on these three factors. So this is one sample cost. Similarly, some other vendors use it this way, that monthly they ask for the payment and they give some kind of credit and we use it. Let's say for this example, when we should go for the performance testing on cloud. Let's say the example, we have to do a performance testing where we need a 1,000 concurrent users run. We need to do only one run for 2 hours. Now, let's say if we need to set up the same lab on in our organization, right? And we need to, the assumption is we need to procure the hardware. So to procuring the hardware, infrastructure cost, electricity, and everything, it will cost around $2,300 for this 1 run for 2 hours. But let's say if we are using some existing cloud service providers out there, it will cost only $88 with the credit and other stuff they give it. In our case, since we need to do only one run for one client, but we are having multiple client base and they want these kind of things from us. So what we have done is we have seen that okay, if we set up our own cloud, if we set up our own lab in the cloud, how much it will cost. So when we use Windows machines on the Amazon cloud, it's only $3.27 will cost us for doing a performance testing for 1,000 users, 1 run and 2 hours. And if we use only Linux machine, it costs around $2.16 for us. Let's take an example of the second example where we need to do a load run of 30,000 users, but we need to do only one run and for 2 hours. If you see if we need to set up the lab on the on-premises, the cost is huge. It's around 50K, right? But the same thing if you do it from cloud service providers, around 1,500K, and the same and with our lab, what we have set up on Amazon, it's only $110 or $72. But see the opposite one, when it does not make sense to take the performance testing on cloud. Over here, we have to do a performance testing of only 500 users for 2 hours, but we need around 3,000 runs for the complete performance testing. You can think of that we are doing it on a yearly basis, performance run on a regular basis. So if you set up the environment on LAN, right, it's costing around $766. But if you are taking it back to this cloud service provider, it's huge. It's 300K we are talking about. And even if we use our own Amazon EC2 lab and do the load generation from there, if the cost is huge, like 20K or 10K is there. So before we go to the demo, I will just summarize, means when should we do a performance testing from